Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We meet again in the video of privatizations, or we can say the shifting ownership from government organizations or public organizations to private organizations. As you can see, what is the meaning of privatizations? Privatizations is government sell the asset for financial reasons. We call it privatizations, and it sell to the private company. The main objective is making this on the efficient and equity. The methods of privatization, we have three: sale of shares to the public, sale to single firm or to a consortium via trade sale, and transfer asset by distributing shares free all or selected citizens. The first one sells shares to the public. Usually it will be increase the receipt by the government, but will be increase the risk borne by the government. The second one is selling to single firm. It just like sell a goods, yeah. Just like the government sell the firms to the other private firm. The third one transfer asset, and also it will be sending to the selected citizens. As you can see in Indonesia, we have soon Surat Utang Negara. It also have a part of privatization or selling the stocks of the government, like for example selling the palm, yeah, the stocks of palm in the government stocks, national government stocks. The ownership and efficiency, this is the main objective. The first one is allocative efficiency, the second one is productive efficiency. The allocative efficiency, they would like to do the supply of an efficient quantity of goods, depends on the efficient pricing, and then trying to decrease the market failure. And also usually public owned business have the very stagnant of objective. But the productive efficiency, they're trying to increase the and not increase the but improve the productivities. This one why the privatizations is increasing the efficiency allocations. So how is the distributional effects impacted? It will increase the price of basic services, as you can see. Usually the government agency often provide basic service at the low market, but when it privatizations, usually it will be increase the prices. And usually privatizations threatening the subsidy for the citizens. So that's the a negative impact actually. The second one is lower real wage of employees and lower employment. This since the privatizations, they would like to decrease and minimize the unit cost. So the possibility of decreasing the unit cost usually lower the wage, and also it will be lower the wage will be a lot of unemployment. Yeah. The third one is create the capital gains for investors at the expenses of the taxpayers. So this is the public and private partnerships. When the public and private partnership is having a components or collaborations together, what is the benefit then? The first one, the benefit is achieving with efficiency benefit from the competitions, because private firms, they will involve and then they will increase the competitions on the increasing the number of productivity. Yeah. And usually the government can borrow to finance in most of the projects given to the private firms. So it will be increase or raise the revenue and repay loans from the taxations. The third one we can see on the impact of the PPP is the several costs as associated from the PPPs. Usually it will be higher cost, but it will increase the networking and also the economy scale of issues. Because of the collaborations with the private firms, it will increase the collaborations among countries. The third one, the length of most PPP contract will be difficult to work precisely. They will be very long-term contracts, yeah. And the government is mostly always taking on some contingency liability. And the good impact also, it will be a rising the number of bilateral negotiations. But the negative impact, it will be a secret bilateral negotiations. And usually, the secret bilateral negotiations, which is very close and it's not shared to the society. And when some government have wrong in movement, they will get something problems, and the society will get the impact. So that's the PPP impact. Now I'm trying to shift concerning the ownership and bureaucracy. We are trying to rethinking the institutional analysis on bureaucracy. Concerned with how economic forces interact with political institutions will be effect to the economic development. So ownership and bureaucracy in the institutional analysis based on the state of art by Norman Nicholson will be effect to the economic development. Yeah, so bureaucracy, government bureaucracy is really affect to economic development. In example, the privatizations. Yeah. Institution will be affect human choices by influencing the availability of information and resources. Usually, this could be changing the thinking methods and the thinking aura for all of the human behaviors. So institutions affect the human choices. So a major role of institution analysis in economic development will concern for these things. Getting the price right. Why we have to get the right prices value? First, the institutional development and design are part of the process of getting the price right because of the interaction between supply and demand. Yeah. The second one, bad policies over time will be corrupt and distort the institutional performance. And the third one, the policy reform and structural adjustment effects will be like starting the process of the getting the price right. Usually the process of institutional change and economic development is impact each others. So those interaction between price, institutions, and economic development as part of the bureaucracy system on the public or not on the ownerships will be illustrated in these three areas. The first one is policy and institutions. Yeah. The second one, characters of goods and institutions. The third one, institutional itself and innovations. So among three of them, not among, but three of them are really can be illustrated or three things on the rethinking of his institutional analysis. How the distributive policies usually can distort the developing countries, or distortion will be rising the pricing problem or inflations. And then usually the role of technology, especially for the innovation, will be added to traditional model, and it will be it will be changing the economic growth traditions. Yeah. So this is the essence of decisions. The three model of decision making for bureaucracies of ownership. The first model is rational actors. The second model is organization process. And the third one is government politics. The rational actors. Usually the government view as these primary actors. And with the individual, the values, purpose, and cost benefit will be calculating as the capacities. And decision usually made by viewing all the alternative and select one of the best and with the highest of the payoff. Under the theory of Soviets, the missiles due to the mutually assured destruction to nuclear war. So one can't solve all of the problems. That's model one. Yeah. The second one, organizational process. Usually, based on the Marsh and Simon Allison, state that the existing government bureaucracy places limits on the range of government action, and it will be established the possibility of alternative. And the government cannot analyze all possible courses of actions. So usually have this model. Usually we have to operate on the historical trends and trying to see the patterns of the actions. Then we do the standard SOP, standard operating procedures. Yeah, that's the organizational process. Just analysis from the operational histories and then doing the patterns, trying to recite from the analysis, and then do the patterns of the actions. Then we do the SOPs. The third model of the government politics. Usually these actions are best understood in the lens of the politics and also the negotiations among them. The leader's power is mitigated by the need for the consensus, and the final actions are in the part determined by the men surrounding the leaders. So this one of the model 3, this is more likely on China country. Yeah, yes men, yes sir, could understand, well not well taking, and etc. So this government politics usually is very good for a politicians, yeah, but not good on the grassroots movement. So despite of the institutional analysis, the bureaucracy theory that we had, we do have this group think, yeah, as the consensus at any cost. It was describing by Irving L. Janes on 1989. So Janes study on the US, so we can see that US mostly in the macroeconomics pattern or perspective, and there he's trying to see the group dynamics. So he show all of the case study by the phenomena of social conformity and pressures on some of the cohesive groups, and also bolstering the moral at expense for the critical thinking, and trying to improve or staying the loyal of the group with the failed, even though they are having a failed policies. Yeah. So group things usually defined as the deteriorations for the mental efficiency. It's like a moral judgment for the group pressures. So in this groupthink, we will see the 8 systems for the groupthink in the bureaucracy. The first one is invulnerability. Invulnerability, usually Janes will define that the symptom, they think that they will strong enough because they are supporting each others. So invulnerability is happening, or there's no vulnerability among the groups or the country or the bureaucracy. The second one, rationals. In this symptom, we are supporting the rationals thought, yeah, morality and stereotypes. Usually, they are seeing others group and then trying to stereotypes which policies or which rationale can be implemented or applied or suitable for the groups. Pressures, since they are supporting each other and they would like to increase the system and productivity. So pressures is one of these symptoms in the groupthink. Yeah. Self-censorship, anonymity, and also mind guards is part of the symptoms for groupthink by Janes. So the recommendation to prevent groupthink, we have 6 parts. The first one, assign the role critical evaluator. We have to find who is the evaluator. Key members must adopt an impartial stance at the beginning stage of deliberations to allow for a wider range of alternatives. Yeah. routinely set up outside policy evaluations group. Invite and seek outside expertise. Have at least one member play the devil advocates during the group meetings. And also, after the initial decision will already reach, the meeting should be solely to discuss people's doubts about the policies. The group thing, usually they have, since we have the rational thought, they have to make a lot of members who can support the monitoring and evaluations. And also playing the devil's advocate. It's just like what if and what if. It's just like trying to pressure their members to think more and more. So the privatizations and also the bureaucracy theories is part of the very connected thought in the introductions of economy based on the government policies. So I know that life is really hard because of the less competitions, less productivity, but we have to believe that we have the pain to taste the sweet. As you can see, this is the very, it's always, what is that? I always take this as a good quotations every day, because to taste the sweet, we have to take the pain. And in the privatizations, I know that it is painful because the subsidy impact, the increasing prices, the unemployment problem is happening. But the competitions and also the productivity, decreasing the scarcity of the products will be appear as the solutions for making the privatizations. So indeed that the bureaucracy, we have institutional analysis, we have the groupthink and other of the theories, but those can hardly implemented in our country, as we can understand that in the institutional analysis, we found that there's a lot of models that can be auctioned by the government, by the leader itself. But in the group thing, we can pressure all the members to be rationals and a good thinker. Yeah, they can prepare for a lot of strategies, alternatives to have the better decisions making. Okay, thank you so much for everyone. This is the last PPT for the video. Please read carefully the materials in my class, because I have much more PPT in the file, so you need to read it carefully. And don't forget to do the task. Yeah, I make a task in there as a case study of Indonesia. For the foreigner students, hopefully you can read it, the cases of Indonesia, then you can answer the questions. Thank you everyone. Hope to see you soon and keep healthy. For the next week on 5th December, we will invite, hopefully, yeah, we will have a guest lectures from Konkan University, Dr. Wei Yang. He will share some important theories concerning public goods theories, and also some minutes or 10 until 15 minutes from your alumni who already had a master degree in Konkan University. Let us hear about their your alumni thought concerning his idea of their research, yeah, sharing and discussions. Thank you everyone. We will meet you again inshallah next week, and keep healthy. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.